Attorney General of the United States is willing to risk jail sentence for contempt of Congress to keep it from seeing the light of day. Anything Biden and his flunkies are trying to hide is bad. Hey everybody, as always, I hope you're having a great week. I'm here with an update on what's happened in Washington, D.C. this week. So let's get started with all of it. First of all, I want to talk about the National Defense Authorization Act. I was able to secure two important amendments to the National Defense Authorization Act, which we call the NDAA for short. The first one prohibits American tax dollars from going to build or rebuild anything within the Gaza Strip. The idea here is simple. Your hard-earned tax dollars should be going to support Americans, not terrorist organizations that are holding Americans hostage. Any group that takes control of the Gaza Strip following this war will have ties to terrorism, Hamas, other terrorist organizations, and they will be opposed to the existence of Israel. Given this reality, even one penny of your dollars going to build or rebuild infrastructure or a port or anything for them, subsidizing them, will subsidize an attack on our ally Israel. It was adopted almost unanimously. The Second Amendment that I was able to have included was known as the Wounded Warrior Bill of Rights. Now, when my legs got blown off in Afghanistan, I had to go through the Defense Health Agency, the DHA. Like other wounded warriors or injured service members of our armed services, you have to go through the DHA to determine their fitness for duty, disability benefits, things like that. And unfortunately, this agency is run by unelected bureaucrats who have far too often refused to look out for the best interests of our nation's warriors. So my bipartisan Wounded Warrior Bill of Rights will change all of that. Our bill will allow commanders, those who are closest to the warriors, to initiate investigations or pause the process if an appeal is underway. It would also give service members a clear path to follow if they decide to appeal a DHA decision or need help understanding the benefits that will impact them for the rest of their lives. I'm glad to see that the House included this also inside of the NDAA. I'm always going to fight for our veterans, my brothers and sisters in arms, make sure they get what they deserve. I also want to speak this week. The House of Representatives voted to hold Attorney General Merrick Garland in contempt for refusing to hand over the tapes of Joe Biden's interview with Special Counsel Robert Hur. Now, the White House has already admitted that they edited these transcripts to remove ums and all the times that the president was just sitting there thinking, not answering questions. Did they take out more than just that? But even to take out that is very telling about the cognitive ability for the president. If he's sitting there saying, for 15 minutes or 5 minutes or 2 minutes at a time, that's something that the American people need to hear. So it's very problematic that they took that out. So just imagine how bad the tape must be if the Attorney General of the United States is willing to risk jail sentence for contempt of Congress to keep it from seeing the light of day. Anything Biden and his flunkies are trying to hide is bad. Maybe Garland knows if these tapes are released, the American people will know he is not running the country. I think the American people should know either way. I'm going to keep fighting to make sure that these tapes are public. Speaking of accountability, this week Biden's State Department announced $3.2 million grant program to help Tunisian migrants readjust to life back in Tunisia. Now, a lot of times people wonder, why am I always looking at dollars that go overseas to other countries, whether it's Tunisia or whether it's to Gaza or other places? I sit on the Foreign Affairs Committee and I chair the Foreign Affairs Oversight Committee. That means I'm tasked with looking at all of the dollars that are sent overseas. So when you're looking at this instance of Tunisia and those millions of dollars, what's literally taking place is the U.S. taxpayer, you, all of us that pay taxes, we are paying so that people that are from Tunisia, that go back to Tunisia, have assistance in reintegrating with their home country, and your tax dollars are going to do that. That makes no sense. There's no place where your dollars should be sent to do that. And it doesn't pass the test of the three questions that I always ask as it relates to foreign policy. What does America need from that country? What does that country need from us? And are we getting what we need from that country? And those questions are not answered or solved by us giving them money to make sure that people from that country can reintegrate in that country. Just a waste of your money. I want to give another example of Joe Biden's foreign priorities and how they're screwed up. Now, unfortunately, this wasn't the only proof that we got that we see a weak American president right now. We saw the largest military exercise of Russian vessels in Cuba since the Cold War. It came on the same day that Vladimir Putin announced that a wrongfully detained American citizen, Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich, will stand trial in Moscow on bogus allegations of spying. These are bogus charges. This is what happens when you have a commander-in-chief whose weakness emboldens our enemies. Russia is acting and America is being forced to react. Not our actions created deterrence, and as a result, Russia didn't do these actions. This is what happens when you see the American military focusing on Pride Month or focusing on making sure that there's a hot meal for the people that are working on the port in Gaza instead of focusing on American military readiness. This is the difference between one administration and another administration. Do you allow the military to focus on defense, or do you force the military to focus on things that they have no business focusing on? As always, it is an honor to serve you. I hope that you all have a great weekend. I look forward to seeing you all around home, and I wish you all the best. Hey everyone, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed the video, please click like and subscribe. I will be back on YouTube with more exclusive content, so stay tuned.